Hello and welcome to this month's Fire Chief's video message for June 2023. And the last Fire Chief's video message for myself. So Pete, you're here. You were here at the beginning and you're here at the end.
Yeah, and I'll probably be here for for the next one. But we'll talk about it here coming up in a few minutes. But
Yeah.
we have a lot to talk about.
There is a lot.
A flurry of activity, budget, new positions. You've been busy your last month or two. So we'll talk about you here at the end.
Yeah.
But
and as you said, this is June 23. The 23 physical budget is wrapping up this month. The 24 physical budget starts in July. The main changes that came with the FY23 county budget, the physical year budget, are related to and associated with the recruit class graduating. They graduate next Friday, the 30th, and the service changes were dependent upon those new recruits coming out in the field. So about a week ago, we sent out the message that outlined those 23 changes. The EMS 702 and 700 have been in service since October. This will make the positions at EMS 702 full-time lieutenants, and folks will be assigned there. EMS 700, on the other hand, is changing from the 0700 to 2300 schedule that it had been to a Monday through Friday 7 to 5 schedule, and two positions, captain's level positions, are being created for that. Changes. Medic 732 is going in service. So when we make these adjustments with those positions, the other full-time positions we changed, and placing an additional transport unit at 32, Monday through Friday, 5 days a week as Medic 732. ALS 701 was a part of the FY23 budget, and we're moving ALS 741 from Rescue 1 to Station 1. Still be 5 days a week, 10 hours a day, but ALS 701 is going in service. Another EMS move as well as number identity change is Ambulance 725 Charlie. 725 Charlie, Fleet Flex Unit, peak time hours, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 25, funded with overtime, is moving to Station 18, having full-time positions assigned to day work at Station 18, and operating, again, 5 days a week, 7 to 17, and being identified as Ambulance 718. So the why there was a bunch of other components and administrative issues, but moving around, increasing an ALS resource with Medic 732, increasing a cot with that Medic 732, and a bunch of good stuff. That's not all. There's still a couple other things in the 23. The Mobile Integrated Health, 2 additional firefighter paramedics to Avatal's team, and the team in Mobile Integrated Health are going to be able to be filled here shortly with this class. And the permanent lieutenant positions related to Station 40. We've been using Station 40 since last July with overtime. And those new positions are on the battalion roster, the vacancy line. People can be placed permanently at Station 40, A, B, and C, and 2 additional float positions. So that's the 23 stuff. A lot of good stuff for FY23 changes.
Yeah, and of course this has been a long time coming. All those things you just mentioned are data driven, and the real need, and of course our call volume has been increasing over the years, and these particular target areas have been finally being addressed, or have been addressed. And
I mean, these things were relatively penciled into the budget in December of a year and a half ago, approved in the FY23 budget, which was May of 22. And as we went into the 23 budget, we realized we needed to do some adjustments with what we were allocated. And that's where these changes, 32, 41 type stuff came about. And that's where the changes come about. So a long time coming. it will definitely be good to see them get here and make a difference. And at the same time, the 24 stuff, the FY24 budget was approved. What about that?
Yeah, so that and you know there I keep thinking about the new fire station, not quite ready, year away maybe, but you know
Not a year. So they say 35 will be done in July. Don't think that's going to be achieved. I think this fall for sure.
yeah.
Maybe October, clearly November, December, 35. But yeah, that's 16 years we've been in the interim or temporary facility at Gateway Center.
Yeah, so that was you know one achievement there that almost before you head out. But the 24 budget, I think number of civilian positions that have been planned and much needed. I think community risk reduction, fleet, EMS. You know, so a lot of activity there as well.
So there's positions in the 23 budget that were already added: an administrative specialist at behavioral health, another 3/4 time medical professional there with the behavioral health team to add that team's capacity. The 24 budget tied in with the Office of Legislative Oversight study on countywide behavioral and mental health for public safety officials, identified some other things that were still needed. The FY24 budget helps with that. We're getting a full-time CISM team leader position. That'll be a uniformed captain as it stands right now. That one doesn't happen until halfway through the budget year. So that position will come in January, but we're also getting a clinical supervisor for that unit. So another team member to add to that. So great work by Chief Kinsley, Chief Carpenter, and Chief Stanton, as well as Dr. Lee, Lori, and all of the folks in that team and the CISM team. And these positions will help expand that level of support, level of service, and the capacity. Again, our focus with the new person this year was to add preventative, proactive training and outreach with that team, as well as dealing with the reactive and emergency circumstances. But indeed, the 24 budget also brings in and adds the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer to the department, a position that we were aiming to get pre the pandemic, and then the National Association of Public Administrators Diversity Study also recommended and identified that as a positive change that the department could implement. An administrative specialist, an IT specialist, fleet road tech, as you said, getting the first of 3, hopefully, mechanics assigned to fleet with the primary responsibility of being in the service trucks and going out and doing things that are appropriate out in the street and reducing the amount of trips vehicles need to take to South Lawn. Procurement specialist, and then on the risk reduction team, we're actually adding 3 positions over the FY24 cycle. 2 more risk reduction specialists, folks like Anthony and Oscar to add to that team, working with Beth Ann to expand that capacity there, because those folks do great work, and continuously, as we've gotten after the pandemic, back out and engaging with folks, help that along. As well as the second uniformed position for the 24 budget is a community action coordinator, which is a lieutenant's position, working with the fire chief's office and Beth Ann's office to work and coordinate, because there's a lot of great effort being done by members in the community, the fire department community, as well as the community overall, and the operational folks throughout the department. We just need to add to that coordination, work on things that are critical to the life preservation of our community. Stop the bleed training, hands-only CPR, community outreach and education. Tie that as well to events where there could be recruiting, education, outreach. Juneteenth was just this past weekend. Great opportunity for us to be always out there with our community talking about these life-saving things as well as educational activities. So that's the main crux in the FY24 budget enhancements.
Could you check your list again? I mean, did you miss the PIO, another PIO in
I
there?
did miss the internal affairs investigator, but I did not miss the additional PIO. You're good enough for all of us.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, internal affairs. And they're busy, of course. They're part of
Yep.
a very important component of
Yep.
recruitment and new employees. So
So I mean, again, it's a lot of stuff coming. It takes a lot of time to get added staff on board. Not minimizing at all the 59 approved new career staff positions in the FY24 budget, which will maintain the attrition that we have, plus these two new folks identified in the budget. So that will outline roughly 2 classes of 40-ish starting at the academy. So one probably in July, one probably in January. Starting 80 people will result in a roughly 58 or 60 person graduate number. So that's what the academy's planning on. CPAT is still engaging, and while recruit class 52 graduates in a week from now, recruit class 53 has already had their meet and greet and will be right behind them. I think it's the second week of July that they start. So
yeah, it's certainly busy around that place. Recruiting
Yep.
is around a year-round thing.
yeah, so recruiting as well as promoting, as well as filling vacancies within the organization is a full-time, year-round activity, and we've had a very turbulent 7-8 months in the promotional opportunities and the promotional process activities. The Master Firefighter and Lieutenant's exam, which was originally started in October with the written test, and then follows into the practical and lab portion for the lieutenants in the late November, early December timeframe. There were a bunch of struggles and challenges with that, to the point that the eligibility lists were not finalized until just the beginning of this month. Beginning of June, and that is caused a lot of frustration by our folks. These folks studied and put a lot of effort into preparing themselves for these advancement opportunities, and then not having results for 6-8 months, having mixed messages in the results, having inability to get good information, and that was one I regret. One that I wish they had not had to go through. Exactly, there was troubles with communications. Some of it was with my team and my staff. Some of it was with the contractor, and some of it was with OHR. The team has all worked together and strived to and aimed for accurate and complete messaging that allowed the process to end. And one of the things that has tragically been lost in the struggles here is the quality of the test. Chief Blake, this was one of his first tests that he, administered and supported, and everybody who took the Lieutenant Assessment Center, was commenting to its applicability and how well it was, and the information there being spot on. And I want to take the second here to acknowledge Jay and his team for the excellent delivery that they performed, and recognize that the quality of the test got shadowed by the struggles with the communications and the results. And that is one I wish that could have been also avoided for Jay and the team. So thank you, Jay, and thank you, team, on that. So at the beginning of June, let me go backwards. So at the beginning of May, most of the results had been sent out, most of the information was out, but there was still an issue to be addressed pertaining to the effective date, or backdating. Some of these positions had been unfilled for 8 months, going back to late October, early November, and had the normal sequence of list creation and official status been followed, vacancies would have been filled and people would have been promoted back in the fall. President Buttle and I agreed that we could and should make those effective dates reflective to when they would have been filled. And once we got the certified list and we came to an agreement on the dates for roughly 15 positions that had been vacant or became vacant during that lag time. That's what was the trigger to announce those vacancies. So want everybody to know my apologies to them for the troubles and the struggles. My congratulations to them for their success in the test, and to identify that the team has been working diligently, and this is a thing that we're going to learn from. There's been a lot of discussions and processes we'll be able to change to aim to improve, but that as these vacancies are closing here in the next couple of days, probably as this video gets released, some of these positions, all of the back positions will have effective dates that are reflect that dating when it happened. So hope that is an update. I felt this was one of the better ways of getting that message out to everybody. Again, thanks to Jay, James Carpenter, Dave Pezos, President Buttle and his team, as well as Director Anderson and OHR and her team, because a lot of work's been done and there were mistakes made, but we'll be better.
Good news on that, and looking forward to seeing a couple new lieutenants.
I want to say it's about 10 to 12 new lieutenants. Another 4 were advertised this morning, which I think are the Station 40s. Chief Kerrigan, Chief Carpenter, Chief Mullendore, they track that and have a good control of that. So they're going to get all of them out there as soon as the position numbers are created and as soon as we're eligible and able to fill them with OHR support.
So good news there. Good news
Yep.
there for sure. How about, I guess, anything else you want to?
So
I'm trying to
just
delay
over
the inevitable, but
you are. So just over a week from now, on Friday the 30th is the my retirement date. Almost 33 years, just 2 months shy of 33 years since August of 1990 when I started. I started as a volunteer in Kensington in '87. My joke is I started when I was 12 years old. Truly I was 15 or technically 19. Well, actually, technically I was 18 in August of 1990 when I got hired for Recruit Class 6. There's still, I think, 5 folks from Recruit Class 6 working today. So shout out to the folks from RC6. And there's a bunch of folks also retiring on June 30th. Chief Fitch, Captain Billingsley, Captain Barcenas. Been great. Still love it. That's why I'm retiring and moving on to Cowlitz too. I still love the ability to help the team, and that's the folks within the organization as well as the community and the residents. So getting the opportunity to be here, be the chief with Montgomery County was and still is amazing. The folks here that helped me along the way were ones that imparted wisdom. For the folks that are coming out of Recruit Class 6 in a week, assuming that was my class, people that are coming out of Recruit Class 52 in a week, they're just starting. Yeah, when you realize that you've been on the job longer than those people have been alive, you're like, okay, maybe I am old. Maybe I don't feel old, but maybe I am old. But the fact is, it's the continual cycle. Those folks will be able to make this service great, build upon what the people who have come before them have done, just like we have done for the people that came before us. And that community trust is immense. Community trust is the most important thing, as they call us at their worst of worst times. And we're there to answer their call, and they trust the fire service, the fire and EMS professionals to take care of them when they can't take care of themselves or fix that problem. So that's great. Our job is to continue that community trust. The opportunities presented here are amazing, and the men and women here are above and beyond, the best that there are. That's the people I'm absolutely going to remember, and the opportunities presented here in Montgomery County by both the members of the organization as well as the members in the community, county executive staff, county council staff, current and past. I'm not going to name names because I'm going to miss some names, and I don't want to do that. And we'll see how I can succeed with that come, Friday, July 7th at the celebration we're having at the Academy. So a lot has happened since April the 4th when I announced my updated or revised retirement date. One of the greatest things is that family helping the family, and things are ready to go. Going later this week to graduation of my one of my sons. So that's what everybody needs to focus on. Focus on family, that home team family, because they're the ones that enable us to come to work in our duty night. So always keep thanks and provide thanks to that home front. So I want to thank Tracy and Andre, David and Michael, the folks who are behind the camera, who have been here, who have taken me from staring at the teleprompter with a lot of trepidation and mumbling and bumbling 50, 60 some videos ago to, the dialogue that we can have now. And this team of folks from the county PIO office were amazing when we got back into the battle rhythm. We even did a Zoom video once or twice during the part of the pandemic. So I say, Tracy, Andre, everybody in the PIO team, thank you for your help over these years. And to the department, thank you. Pete?
Hey, Chief, so that's all great. You're not getting off that easy, really. So,
you like seeing me work, so what are you doing? I'm already doing the work.
I love work. I can watch it all day,
Exactly.
and I've been watching you for what?
Just like yours today.
8 years or something. So you have brought a refreshing leadership style to the department. So it has been a pleasure working with you. But there's been a lot of milestones that have occurred over your tenure. Hundreds of people have been employed. Recruits have come through. I don't know what the number is. Apparatus, millions and millions of dollars worth of apparatus, fire stations, innovative operational tactics and guidelines have been placed, but it's been a challenging time too. I mean, the pandemic, throw a pandemic in there, planes, crashes, buildings blowing up.
So,
I mean, there's been some pretty significant events that have impacted on the community.
Indeed, one of my first budget cycles were real discussions about cutting services. Sitting with the county executive team at the time, county council team at the time, talking about service level reductions because of financial struggles. And how and what that means, and how and what the department needs, and how our partners in legislative and executive staff can support that. We've made a lot of great changes too. People ask, what are you the most proud of, or what is the thing that you will remember? And I'm going to harken back to 4-person staffing on the paramedic engine company. So I had the great honor of working for Chief Gercio as his executive officer from 05 on for a bit. And it was 2006 when we did the first wave of 4-person staffing. You took the hazmat driver off of hazmat 7. We took the extra position from here, but we put like 10 or 11, engines in the first wave along with the grant, funding to be that first dozen rigs that were 4-person staffing. Paramedic engine, 4-person staffing. So it took us 12 years, 06 to 2018, to complete all 35. There was also a recession and a downturn in the middle of that, so it was not always roses each year in that time and cycle. We lost services during that recession period, ladder trucks, ambulances. But that's the thing that I recognize from the 06 time frame when I was the operations executive officer to the 18 time frame when I was in the fire chief's position as a thing that I'm very proud of. As you outlined, the organization has grown immensely. The capabilities of MCFRS are very deep, but also very broad to what we do provide to the citizens in the service and the residents and visitors. So that's amazing, and that's because of the people. One of the things that you may have heard the tone in that budget changes is we have to keep focus as well on the people behind the scenes. We're always very thin on the people that support operations. Administrative, civilian, as well as the uniform folks that are behind the scenes. And we've been focusing on that. I use that iceberg analogy. We've got to keep the people and the things underneath the waterline, there, so that iceberg stays afloat. And everybody sees the chunk of ice above the water, which is the 37 stations and all the 300 folks a day on the street. So my kudos go out to everybody who's on that support side of the house, because they do keep the department alive.
Well, and it goes without saying here, we don't often have to think about it, but the combination type of department is very challenging to manage. We are probably the largest combination career volunteer department in the country.
Well, I mean, you in Montgomery County and Prince George's County, we always debate who's the largest. It doesn't really matter. Both organizations are rich with history, rich with passionate people. And absolutely, people don't think of us as a 2,700 member organization. Yeah. That is immense. The IECS list is 2,700 people on a daily basis. It changes and goes around. So, 100 civilian staff, 2,600 folks that are qualified to ride, 1,300 career members, about 1,400 volunteer personnel. Everything we do is driven around supporting those 2,700 folks. That is big, and it is what takes a lot of the time of the folks in leadership to support that and keep, helping everybody in that organization.
Well, I just wanted to throw that out there. I know it's not easy managing a large department. By the way, what's the size of the department where you're going?
80 personnel, 3
That's
stations.
The size of our recruit class.
It has been one of our bigger classes, yeah.
Wipe that smile off your face. I know you're pleased about that, but you're going to have challenges there as well. But I think they have selected the right person for it, and good for you. Congratulations, and good riddance.
Thank you, Pete. I hope you're back here next month by yourself, talking to the camera.
Well,
filling the shoes.
If they show up, I'll talk. I'll do the talking.
All right. Well, it's on Tracy's calendar, so she'll be here.
Okay. All right.
So, again, thank you, Pete, for the help and the time. And it's been fun. Still is fun, and will always be fun to think about. So, as I said, this is the June Fire Chiefs video message, as well as the last message. I'm going to outline the word thanks again. Say thanks to your home team. Say thanks to the folks that make it so you can come to work. Take care of those extra activities so that you can support the community as well as improve yourself. Say thanks to your shift mates and the folks that you're working with every day. Keep them, right there with you. And thank you, most importantly, to the family that's helped me. I'm not going to miss that. Heidi, Wyatt, and Logan, thank you much. So take care. Be safe.